O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Good morning. It is a Tuesday. Yes, sir. January. We're already in the middle of January already. God, 2 weeks has gone by so quickly. The entire football season went by so quickly and painful, too, on top of all of that. It really was, man. It was rough. Last night, the Heat alleviated some of our pain with the win over the Nets. Nice effort for Jimmy Butler. It was nice to see him back. For how long? Who knows? We'll talk about that. The Panthers, unfortunately, lost to the Ducks. They quacked there in overtime, but I mean, they've been kicking some ass. And obviously, we had the playoffs yesterday, something that our Dolphins are no longer participating in. So we'll talk about that. I was happy for Baker Mayfield. And so happy for him, I got to say, because he has kind of fought through it all, and he had a nice game yesterday. It was interesting to see the Bucs, how they, won their division, and they were able to play a home game and, beautiful weather and stuff like that, Maybe our idiot Dolphins can learn that lesson once in their lives. But anyway. So we got markets opening up, stock market opening up a little slow, which is not ever good. Crypto-wise, well, those of you that are on the kryptonite run, yeah. Did you buy that dip down to 8 cents, 8.1, 8.4, 8.5, right in that 8-cent area? Because now we're over 10. It got over 11 cents last night. So just in case, because we told you about kryptonite. And, we always tell you, get the dip. And right now it's up 25%. I'm sorry, 26.25. And it's over 10.5 cents right now, 10.57. It got up almost like, I think it was like close to, over 11 yesterday, which it went from 8 to 11, which was just absolutely amazing. So those of you that are on Hey Thaler, interesting that we have that thing that we do in the show with the Hey Sailor, and we end up liking kryptonite, which the acronym is Sailor. So, I mean, how can I not find the damn Chris Rattan porno promo? Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know how it is that I know I have the damn promo. Problem is, I have hundreds of promos that I've done over the years. When doing regular radio, you get people on and you get them to do promos and all that kind of stuff. And I know I was able to. Let me see. Here we go. I know that I have a bunch of promos. And I know I have the Chris Rattan, because we should have that at our disposal. And every time I try to find this thing, I never can find it. Yeah, it's funny because it's not under Chris. That's probably why I always have problems trying to find this thing. And I don't know if I did it. I'm not going to put it under Rattan, but I'll look under Rattan. I don't know why I never can find this damn promo. It sucks, dude. I'm telling you, this sucks. I wish I could find the damn promo. What a shame, dude. And I know I have it somewhere. It's there somewhere. Let me see. I'm going to try one more thing here. I bet I won't find it because, I'm in the middle of the show and I want to find it. And there's no way I'm going to find it,
Hey, this is quarterback Kirk Cousins, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
Right. I'll find Kirk Cousins. I'll find.
Yo, what's up, people of Florida? Don't be slow. Listen to Big O. This is Jeff Ross, the Roastmaster General. Love you, Big O. And you're listening to 640 Sports.
There we go. That's when I was at 640. How about that? That's just crazy. I can't find Chris Rattan. It's just nuts, dude. Just.
Hey, everybody. It's Neil Slofkin here. You're listening to the Big O Show in Miami. Keep on rocking.
That's right. Thank you, Nils.
Hey, this is Rick Springfield, and you're listening to the Big O.
I can find Rick Springfield.
Hey, this is Vince Neil, and yeah, you are listening to the one and only, the Big O. So crank it up.
Crank it up, baby. We can find all kinds.
Hi, Rat and Rollers. This is Stephen Piercy from Rat. You're listening to the Big O Radio Show.
I just, but I just can't find the damn Chris Rattan one. This is crazy. Hey, Thaler. So, anyway. So, we can't find it. One day I'll find it. I don't know when, but I got to look through all my archives and try to find it. Anybody on the Vinar chain bandwagon? That's up 9%. It's up over 6 cents. That thing is moving a little bit. And Pendle's approaching $2 again. It is up almost 8%. Neutron Bomb is just over 1%. It's at $1.39. It has been strong. That's found its floor at 139, 140, 141. Neutron has found the floor. Those of us that took advantage when it dipped to 96, 97, 98, 99 cents, then, those, you won. You won because it has never approached those numbers again. So, anyway. So we got stuff going on. We'll see if the market starts to turn in the I will tell you this, on the crypto side, the ETFs and everything else are going to be a monster positive. They're going to be adding money as it goes. Problem is that they open the ETFs, then all these companies go to their funds, and they go explaining Bitcoin to all of them, and then each of the funds then go to their investors. And so a lot of them will probably say no, because they're still they don't know anything about Bitcoin. And then some of them that have been waiting for it will dive right in, and then others will take some time to kind of study it. So this is a process that will take a couple of months, but you're going to see an injection of billions of dollars into Bitcoin. I know we're going to go close to 60 pretty soon. You know what I mean? But it'll start, but it's not a thing that was going to go from night to day. I told you guys, 4 to 6 weeks, I think it was, that's when you really start to see the difference from these ETFs. And it'll happen. It's just a process. You know what I'm saying? There's some that are getting online this week. BlackRock they bought 11,000 Bitcoins in 2 days. The problem is that Grayscale's GBTC, they're dumping, because they're getting out of it. So those people will get out of it to get to the ETF instead. And some of them are getting their profits because it's been locked up for 3 years and they've got some sick profits. So they're taking advantage. Can never blame anybody for taking profits. Anyway, Cam Wolf will join us at 10:30. He is still in Buffalo. There's not enough money for me to do that job. Okay, maybe I've been at this for, over 3 decades. I work on my own. I got my own platform. It's me and Sean. I don't have to worry about anything. Maybe I'm spoiled that way, but there isn't enough money to pay me to do that job, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? Anyway, but he is stuck in Buffalo, so we will do it, and we will talk to Cameron Wolf. Manny Navarro is not stuck in Buffalo. He will join us at 11. For those of you that missed it, yesterday we had Jamie Vinnick on. He is a Washington State Cougars beat writer, and he fought, and obviously he has covered Cam Ward. And so we brought him on yesterday to talk about Cam Ward. So for those of you that are big fans and you want to find out a little bit more about the quarterback that you just got, we got the beat writer yesterday that has covered him the last couple of years at Washington State. We'll talk to, obviously, Manny. We talked to Manny on Friday about the Cam Ward stuff. So we'll get into it a little bit more and other topics with him at 11 o'clock. So 10:30, Cameron Wolf, 11 o'clock, Manny Navarro. So all that good stuff going on. Let's get to a little roll call. Let's do that. Gus 1388 is number 1 in the house. I like it. Oscar Rojas, do you think we lose Christian Wilkins in free agency? Is it true that the Dolphins are $40 million over the cap? Oscar, you need to listen to the show yesterday, my man. We talk about Wilkins, okay, and talk about Connor and all that. I think Connor stays. I think Wilkins is gone. Okay, and they'll easily get under the cap. Tua is an elite quarterback, no debate. I'm not worried about Tua whatsoever. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. I hope everybody's feeling a little better. I know I am. Remember to smash the like button and fins up, everybody. I'm not, Jamie. I'm not feeling good about this at all. I got to see what happens this offseason so I can, kind of reprogram myself a little bit here. But at the moment, I'm not satisfied. I'm very unsatisfied with Mike McDaniel. And I may be like this till next year until I actually see him do something different. So I am not all right. I mean, I'm all right now that I get to watch the Heat and the Panthers, and then I got Inter coming up. So teams that actually have a chance at winning, like in the playoffs, unlike the Dolphins, who just are master chokers. I mean, master and disgustingly embarrassing chokers. You do know that the Dolphins have turned into the most embarrassing franchise in town next to the Marlins because they try, but they fail. And that's, the Panthers are trying and they're winning. The Heat try and they win. They actually win in the playoffs. They both can go to the finals. One of them even has won it a couple times. That's, that's actually working. You know what I mean? The Dolphins are an absolute joke, dude. It's just so I'm not sure how you can be fine with it. I'm not fine with it at all. Steve Chapman is in. Willie is in the house. Thank you, Willie. I appreciate you. Ray Sosa. Yeah, Jimmy. Well, he's back for a game. We'll see how long he lasts. What are you going to do? Joseph is in. Hello, Fins, Heat, Canes, Panthers, and Marlins. C's, thank you for the love. James Gleason, it's a beautiful thing. You know it. Nico Jones, after the season collapse, particularly on offense, I feel like I'm watching Adam Gase Part 2. Well, it's kind of a little bit of that. When I jack, what McD said during the press conference about play calling leads me to believe he wants everything to be perfect. Our offense needs to start dictating to the defense. He needs to start getting better at calling. What I did notice from that press conference is that I didn't see, the same Joker and all that stuff, which, and in a way there was this tension that was there at the table with Chris and Mike. Not that there's necessarily tensions between them, but the fact that they are probably extremely unhappy with the ending of the season. I mean, you did go 2-4 to end the season, which is as pathetic as it gets. And so there has to have been some kind of conversation with Mike McDaniel from, I would imagine, Chris Grier and McKenzie and Allen and Garfinkel about, his shortcomings, which he certainly has a bunch, overall. So that, to me, it was like McDaniel was there and answering the questions, but you could tell that Mike McDaniel really didn't want to be there to answer those questions. He wasn't as jubilant and as looking forward to everything there. He was kind of coasting along in that presser. I'm going to go over some of the things that were said. Jay Gelfin is in. Julian is in. Alexis is in. Let's see. Nice. Yes, a gritty win by the Heat. Just find a way to win, right? To a time in. Jake. John Padilla. Lofi. Dude 67. Chad. Julian Too Nice. Cosa Nostra. Frankie says he's back in Miami from Kansas City. Dolphins lost, but it was fun and very cold. Lisa says still smarting from that loss Saturday, but moving forward. It'll take me a while to move forward. To a time, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl as long as it's not Buffalo and crybaby Josh Allen. Julian Too Nice. George Perales. Offer to a 3-year deal, $75 million, $40 guaranteed. They'll probably give him a 5-year deal, my brother, because you have to work with the contract. I'm trying to get some information on something. I sent a friend of mine some information in the league, and I'm waiting for the answer on that. Oh, what are we getting here? Sum 41, tour of the setting suns with interrupters. Whoa. Okay, they come into Florida. There's a Daytona Beach date. Okay. A friend of mine just sent me some dates there. And the interrupters are opening up for some of 41. So I'm waiting for an answer on something that I want to explain to you guys, but I want to make sure I have the information before I do it. Brooklyn Rob in the house. Say and Kryptonite have been good to me, Big O. May not be a financial advisor, but my man knows his crypto. Yeah, the Say chain, it's over 1.5 billion. So it's moving. And then Kryptonite, it's going to be the DeFi platform and staking platform for the Say chain. And since I see the Say chain blowing up already, I figure their DeFi platform is also going to blow up. And if it blows up, that's Kryptonite. Hey, Thaler is going to fly. And so that's why I've been big on it. That's why I turned you guys on to Neutron, because Cosmos created that for their ecosystem. And their ecosystem is light years ahead of Say. And Say and Kryptonite and all that, they've never been through a bull run. It's a new company. So this is going to be their first bull run. I'm super pumped. I know you got into Say, and you got to keep it in there, Brooklyn Rob, because it's not a bad, it's a good investment still. The Kryptonite one, you have more opportunities to flip it more. That's the thing, because 27 million to 1.5 billion, easier to flip 27 million many, 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 many times over. It could easily go to 3 billion. That would be over 100 times easily. You know what I mean? Because Say the blockchain itself, it's probably going to go up to 4, 5, 6 billion. And then since that's going to be holding all the money, it's going to be worth a lot. So I'm glad you're in it. Good luck to you, sir. As you know, I am not a financial advisor, but we do seriously kick ass in crypto. I mean, seriously kick ass in crypto. Anyway, Lofi, George Perales, to a time, Aaron Hernandez, Ray Varnekes, Julian Too Nice. Just around a month ago, y'all was saying this is the year to a MVP. Well, I still have no problem with Tua, my brother. I mean, those of you that do, that's your problem, not mine. I don't really give a shit, as I said. Crypto Fins, just want to thank you guys for covering the Dolphins this year, hoping for a better season next year. Yeah, just hope. I can guarantee you crypto will be better than the Dolphins. That's what I can guarantee you. Crypto Fins. Lenny Pena is in. Thank God for our Miami Heat and Panthers and Inter Miami. We got some special seasons coming up. Brian Landis, George Perales. Dude 67, Big O, you should do a poll if Tua gets his long-term contract this offseason. No, I'm not going to do that. Why am I going to waste my time? All the Tua haters are just going to be jamming on it. It's not really a real poll. It's just something, put it this way, it's like watching Elon do a Trump poll, and then obviously Trump's going to win because it's all driven by that, right? And then the people that are really, don't care about Trump, they're not even paying attention to the poll. It's only the Trumpies. So, of course, the Trumpies are the ones that are going to dominate, and it's going to look one way, but it's not really an objective poll. You know what I'm saying? Same thing here. This wouldn't be an objective poll because most of the people that are just Tua, they're just there or whatever, and they don't need to argue with you so much. Those of you that just hate Tua, you got to express it so much. You know what I mean? So you'll be out there voting no. It's a useless poll. Would do nothing. Let's see. Oh, come on now. It slipped out. You must be doing other than crypto and watching porn. I watch porn all the time. Come on, bro. Gotta watch porn. Let's see. I think what wakes me up every morning is Kim K's porn. Alarm goes off, TV goes on, there's Kim K. So, yeah. Chef Jew, good morning, Big O, and everybody. How y'all doing this morning? Check your pulse. Julian Too Nice, Chef Jew, Louis M. Let's see. Troy Ortiz. Brooklyn Rob. Yes. A little nostalgic Tuesday. Yes, sir, Brooklyn Rob. NorCal is in. Good morning, Big O Sean and chat borders. George Perales. Vishal. George Souza. What else do we have here? All right. Bunch of folks in there. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmos at Venmo or Cash App at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. And you can always make a Bitcoin donation, which those are my favorite donations. And, of course, you can send your questions, comments, hate, maybe even a compliment. Todd Rundgren, I'm told now, May 22nd at the Paca. At the Paca. Let's see. What else do we have? All right. We got a little time. Let me go over a couple things from the Dolphin press conference yesterday with Grier and McDaniel. And as I told you, you could tell that the mood, which there shouldn't be any good mood, especially from Mike McDaniel, considering, and by the way, when asked about the season, let's just attack that one right from the get-go. This season was an utter failure. It was a disgrace. It was an embarrassment. It was pathetic. I don't give a shit about individual accomplishments. I told you this weeks ago. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I've been living that shit for 25 years. Jason Taylor, Defensive Player of the Year, and Ricky Williams, and 1,800 yards, or the Lamar Smith year, or the Jay Ajayi year, or whatever stupid little individual things that went on. I don't care. That's all this team ever does. And that's all they've ever been doing for a quarter century is accomplishing things by individuals. I'm here to celebrate collective. I don't care. I don't care about the Pro Bowl. Don't give a shit. I don't watch the Pro Bowl. Happy for the people that made the Pro Bowl. I don't care about the Pro Bowl. I don't care about your stats. Don't care about it at all. I care about winning in the playoffs. That's what I care. So this season, as you finish 2-4 and you lose and choke out the division and lose to Buffalo again because they own you, you're their bitch, okay? And then Mike McDaniel was an absolute disaster again because you get caught up with the fluff of the yards and the points and all that kind of stuff, but there's no substance, okay? You can, it's let's see, Indiana Jones, right? Guy comes out, and he's got all the blades, this, that. Indiana just pulls out the gun and puts a cap in his ass. Yeah, you got all this crap, and here you go, boom, you're done. It's over. It's Valley Girl. Nicolas Cage is on the stage on the side. They're waiting to announce the king and queen. And the blonde Valley dude thinks he's tough guy, and and Nicolas Cage just kicks him right in the nuts, puts him right out, right there. A lot of screaming, and then in the end, there's nothing to it. And that's what the Dolphins were. They were a team that made a lot of noise, and postalita is what we like to call them in Spanish. Una postalita. That's what they are. The guy that acts cool, acts tough, whatever, but he's not cool or he's not tough. And the Dolphins, there was nothing cool about the Dolphins. There's nothing tough about the Dolphins. There's nothing reliable about the Dolphins. There's nothing to count on with the Miami Dolphins because they have poor leadership when it comes to Mike McDaniel. So, what can I tell you? And by the way, did I pull that one up? I think I didn't, right? I should have pulled that one up because I had, and I know we're probably going to get tagged, Sean, on this one. if I pull it up and play it. But it's funny how some Dolphins, some, of course, because some of you can be objective and you can actually handle the honesty, and you'll agree with me most of the time anyway. But Chris Long was on Rich Eisen yesterday, and as I've called the Dolphins undisciplined under Mike McDaniel, because they've been undisciplined for 2 years straight now under Mike McDaniel. Well, here is Chris Long on Rich Eisen's show, and he's talking about Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. Why don't let's enlarge and let's play.
I like Mike McDaniel, but the disciplinary stuff, the third downs, there were like 4 or 5 third downs in this game where if you got third manageable in that weather, the way they are, you feel good. But they false started. They had illegal formations. They had a bunch of stuff that knocked them back.
I'm sorry. You were able to hear everything, right, Sean? You're able to hear Chris Long? All right, we're not able to hear you, but we were able to hear Chris Long? Okay. So, anyway. So it is what it is. And McDaniel is a undisciplined coach that sets his players up for failure. Oh, no, but he got yards and the number one offense. Yeah, he's got talented players. But he doesn't know how to guide his talented players. He puts them in positions to fail, unfortunately. And that's not a good thing. This team will not learn how to win with Mike McDaniel the way he has coached for 2 years. That's proven already. That's what's proven is the way Mike McDaniel coaches is a failure. So I don't know what he's going to change this offseason, because you can't change your personality. If you're a dick, you won't be able to become their friend. If you're their friend, you won't be able to become a dick. So I don't know how it's going to play out. This is really tough. Once you've committed your personality to a team, changing throws it completely off, because now they look at you and say, this dude's a phony. This dude's trying to be somebody he's not. So he can't start becoming a disciplinarian, because nobody's going to take Mike McDaniel serious as a disciplinarian. So that's the problem with that one. So, that's the only thing I can tell you. Anyway, Big O went out and bought me a Bucs hat since they know how to win. Well, hey, man, they've won a Super Bowl, a few years back, and they've had more success in that franchise the last, 20 years, in this millennium, way more success than Miami ever will. So, yeah, it's sad, bro. It really is sad that they've won 2 Super Bowls and they've been to the playoffs a bunch of times, and Miami just can't figure shit out. So, I was happy for them. I root for the Bucs and the Jags when the Dolphins obviously aren't playing for them, because they're Florida teams. I want them to do well, except if Urban Meyer is their coach. I cannot root for you at all. So there was one year where I was rooting everything bad for the Jags because of Urban Meyer, and it went well. It went really well for me. But I don't have any, dislike for the Bucs or the Jags, unless they play the Dolphins. Then they're the enemy that day. But last night I was really happy for Baker Mayfield. 22 of 36, 337, 3 touchdowns. Get him back his commercials. Give him the keys to the pirate ship and get him back his commercials, okay? Because if I have to put up with those silly, I think it's Verizon commercials with the old man freaking out with drama stuff, and then the family's trying. Bro, those commercials are the worst. And by the way, Geico with the caveman, you should have left that shit in the cave 20 years ago. Those Geico commercials now with the caveman, it is brutal, dude. Like brutal Geico. Okay, I get it. I won't be able to go after Geico advertising. I understand by saying this. But those caveman commercials are atrocious. I'm not sure how you think that's a good advertising campaign, bringing that back. Just saying. Okay? Just saying. Some bad commercials. But Baker Mayfield's commercials, those were actually pretty good, man, compared to some of the shit you guys got out there on television right now. Oh, man. Bring back Baker's commercials. Anyway, we got send Cam a reminder because he's in Buffalo, but on Cuban time still. So how long is Coach McDaniel's leash? I've already talked about this post game and yesterday, my man. I already said it. I think it's next year. That I already said weeks ago. We hit the crossroad. I guess you haven't been listening for a month. We hit the crossroad. Next year is his final year. The entire fan base will turn on his ass if it continues in the same direction we've gone in the first 2 years. If it's a discombobulated offense that never gets it going and is constantly failing its team like it has for 2 years, he is gone at the end of the year. They will have to fire him. Okay? So they're not firing him this offseason. Nothing's changing or anything like that. You know what I mean? Although, Sean, did you see my conspiracy theory I came up with yesterday? Huh? You know, we got all those idiots out there constantly that are coming up with all these useless conspiracy theories that they have zero proof and they can't prove any of them. But, they continue with them. But it's funny. I love hearing all these idiots because they're always wrong and they never can prove anything. They have zero proof on everything. So I figured, let me join in the crowd and hand the conspiracy idiots, a little material. Are you following me now, Sean? You ready? Bobby Grier worked for Bill Belichick. Bobby Grier is Chris Grier's son, or dad, that is, Chris Grier's dad, right? Belichick needs a team. He also needs a quarterback. He knows Chris Grier from his day. I think Chris had a little bit of a cup of coffee in New England, then came here. I think that's how it went. And so he would know Chris Grier. He trusts him. Plus, Chris Grier's quarterback beats his ass all the time. Belichick knows the division inside and out. It allows him to get his revenge on Robert Kraft and the Patriots for pushing him out. It brings discipline that Miami desperately needs. Now, I know Belichick can't build a staff, can't figure out offense, so that'll be another problem for Tua to inherit. Like the other two idiots so far, But anyway, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there, right? I mean, right? It kind of all falls. These are what conspiracy idiots do all the time. They try to put things together that have a connection. Bobby Grier, Chris Grier. Yeah, Belichick, connection. Yeah, Miami. Yeah, he knows the division. Yeah, Dolphins need discipline. Oh, my God, yes, bring Belichick in instead of McDaniel. Yes, our defense will not fold in the end. Yeah, wow, we wouldn't have lost the Tennessee game. Whatever. This is what the conspiracy idiots do. All kidding aside, there's a lot of connections there. I mean, it's his chance to stay in the division. Now, the ultimate stinker of it all, do you know what it would be, Sean? He breaks Shula's record in Miami on a Dolphin team. Would that alleviate it for you guys that he breaks Shula's record, but he does it with the Dolphins? So what do you think about that conspiracy theory, huh? All the connections there. Coaches, players love going to the same division. They love making a cross-division move. Right? Rex Ryan went to multiple teams in the division. Happens, right? Players do it all the time. They go to multiple teams. Jason Taylor played for the Jets. All right, let's do it. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, man. I've been better. I'm in day 6 of Buffalo, and I just want to go home.
Yeah, no, I was saying earlier this morning, there ain't enough money to pay me to do what you do, bro. There just isn't enough money. And from what I heard, I heard that, Cameron Wolf went there with some new style.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, baby. Look at Cameron Wolf getting dressed for Buffalo.
That was definitely me.
Huh?
Absolutely. As many layers. But
look how tight that shit looks. After she's done, it looks great. It doesn't look like you're wearing eight jackets. You know how when people put one jacket after another, you know what I'm saying?
They look like you're super bulky, right?
But that's a great invention right there, dude. And by the way, why didn't you take that with you? Really? Seriously?
I don't know. I didn't know about it until now. I wore 6 layers yesterday. And she looks better than I did. Because I had to be warm. I'm not kidding. I didn't look like an Eskimo man. I didn't look super puffy, but I had 6 layers on for sure. Yeah. So.
Well, you're a slim guy, so it's hard to make you look. Yeah.
Well, another few days of Buffalo and trying to get some of these wings, I'm not going to be that slim anymore.
Yeah. Now, see, if I did it, I'd look like a freaking blimp, and I might float out of the damn stadium or something like that. So it's a whole different ballgame. So I had fun on social media with some conspiracy theory, just to, because we're in the age where all these idiots come up with conspiracy theories that none of them are true.
Mm-hmm.
And so follow me on this. Are you ready?
Yep.
Bobby Grier worked for Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Grier is Chris Greer's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Belichick needs a team. Players and coaches love going to teams in the same division because they know the division.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a quarterback. They have a quarterback that kicks his ass every year, right? Yeah. So you start thinking about it. Dolphins need discipline. They're not a disciplined bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring in Belichick. I know he can't build an offense and he can't find an offensive staff, which would be the third coach that Tua would have to deal with dysfunction with offense. But my point is, right? You start thinking about all of this stuff, and there you go. Belichick to Miami. What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I don't know if I even really like it, to be honest. Here's what I would say.
Oh, by the way, he breaks Shula's record.
Oh, man.
In Miami.
Shula would be rolling over in his grave. Like
the Shula family would lose their minds.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there was how can I say this kindly? There was no love loss between Shula and Belichick. And so that would probably be the last thing that Shula would want to see. And the other thing about that is, like, I get it. There's always extremes, but given what the fan base and you and a lot of people took away from, like, firing Brian Flores, going back to another Patriot style coach would seem like going backwards. And even if it's the coach, who created the system, you're getting the original. It's still the the same thing that was the quote unquote issue before, and so I don't think that would be the route, even though that connection you pointed out is notable.
I mean, there's a lot of shit there that connects it. Like, a lot.
Absolutely. And Chris Grier came up as a Patriot scout.
He came up great. One more thing, he gets revenge on the Patriots and Kraft.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, there's so much shit in there. If you really just to have fun, this is what conspiracy theorists do. They put one and one thing together, and then they find common denominators. Oh my God, this is it, and then they run with it. It's kind of, look, I know McDaniel's not going anywhere. I know Tua's not going anywhere and all that stuff. So I'm trying to tell people, just move on from that, bro. Just stop with the stupidity. They're not going to make any kind of changes. Now, they do need to make McDaniel. Here's the question for you now, because I've been at this a long ass time. The nice guy can't become the disciplinarian. The disciplinarian cannot start becoming your friend. Right. That doesn't happen ever in football, basketball, hockey, baseball, soccer. I've covered every sport in the world. I've watched people fail the way they do things. If you fail being a dick and then you start thinking you can be their friend, it's over for you because you're a phony. If you're a nice guy and you're their friend, and now you got to try to be a dick, it's not going to ever fly either. So McDaniel needs to get discipline on his team, okay? Because they are an undisciplined bunch in many different ways. They make a lot of mental errors, from penalties to mistakes, constantly. How does he become a disciplinarian with his style of coaching? $1 million question that I don't even think you can answer because you're not a shrink, but go ahead and try.
Can we find that TNT wall? Where's the TNT wall that I was about to say what you want about Brian Flores, but his guys were disciplined. It's interesting because I've said this before, like no coach is perfect, right? And so with every style, you're going to have weaknesses, quote unquote. And because McDaniel has an uplifter, he's a positive, he's a confidence builder. I think naturally you have a more relaxed environment, which can be good for a lot of elements. But at the same time, it's and he's talked about it. He's talked about it, but they have to realize it. When adversity strikes, when you're in those intense moments, when you're in those critical games, how do you respond? And I think he talks about it so much because he knows that's the biggest thing that he has to get through to his team, and it hasn't connected yet. They were once again very undisciplined as far as their communication, as far as their pre-snap issues against Kansas City. And it's a constant theme for 2 years, their operation, their communication. They're slow getting out to the huddle. They're slow getting to the line of scrimmage with all the motion.
By the way, did you caught Tua's press conference?
Yeah.
Towards the end, he's going, well, if we get plays in late on time still, we can't make the adjustments for protections. We can't change the play. So how is your quarterback at an advantage when your head coach doesn't even know what play to send in? And once he sends in the play, it's so late, Tua has to go with that play, and he can't make any changes because there isn't any time. That doesn't put your quarterback at a really, at an advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, so it can be it's a complex scheme too, right? And it's complex in that there may be multiple motions in a given play that you have to call out, and it's going to be based on what you see in the defense. And if you're not getting to the line of scrimmage till 10 seconds left, it's not so much the penalties, right? Like I think everybody thinks about the organization and sloppiness as penalties. They actually weren't as bad penalty-wise as they were last year. They improved in that department. But still, I think there was a lot of chaos at the line of scrimmage, and that Tua wasn't able to fully control things. And then I'll tell you what, I talked to a lot of defensive coaches over the back end of the season, and they said they realized because of that operation being out of flow, they could be very late on showing their coverages, and Tua wouldn't be able to pick up on what they're doing, whether they're running a cover 2 or running a cover 6 or playing man. And when you do that, you eliminate a lot of the advantages that they're trying to do with their motions to disguise and to figure out what the defense is going to do, right? And so they've got to figure out a way, one, to get to the line of scrimmage quicker, and two, how to get that advantage back, because early in the season it was unstoppable. And then they played later in the season. I know people will say, oh, once they played the good teams, but I think it was more about the timing, like the period of time shift. Like, yes, they didn't play a lot of good teams in the first half of the season, but I felt like they were not able to adjust as defenses adjusted to their terminology, their scheme, their ability to do motion. And that to me is going to be a big challenge for them going into year 3. This is going to be a difficult offseason. Like, let's just keep it 100. I know as fan base, they're always going to be looking to move forward, but they're in a period where they may have to take a small step back as far as like on paper personnel, because of their cap issues, because of the fact that they're going to have to pay a few players, right? And so on paper, I wouldn't be surprised if they start in April and this roster looks quote unquote worse talent rise. And that might just be a state of transition where they're going to have to trust younger players to play. Like, they're paying a lot of veterans a lot of money. And I think you're going to see a handful of guys gone, and they're going to have to trust. They're going to have to trust your Cam Smiths. You're going to have to trust those guys who they were not trusting previously to get significant snaps for this team to go about going forward. So I'm very eager to see what happens in year 3. McDaniel certainly has some things he needs to shore up as a coach. I think Fangio is going to get a few more guys that are fit for what he wants and scheme-wise. And we'll see. But
what you think Fangio comes back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because the way they made it sound yesterday in the press conference was, well, we're all going over that we're all still grieving in the process, and and then we'll talk to Fangio and the coaches and all that. He didn't make it sound like for sure. And if I look at Fangio, here's one thing I do look at Fangio. Do you think he enjoyed himself here, that he was comfortable here? And then was he comfortable with Mike McDaniel and watching the dysfunction on offense for 2 years in a row? He wasn't here last year, but I'm sure he heard of it, and then he sees it. And the offense is what failed this team a lot of times. I know the defense effed up in the Tennessee game, but overall, the defense did enough in a lot of these games to help you out, and the offense is the one that failed. Plus, Phillips and Chubb are going to be out for a good portion of next year, and even when they come back, Phillips and Chubb will not be themselves in the 2024 season, and anybody expecting that is unfair to them. It's going to take them a year, probably to the 2025 season, for them to be fully healthy, to be themselves overall. Does Fangio really want this that badly? Are you convinced of that?
Well, he's getting a lot of money to want it badly for the next few years. But I will say this, it's probably tough for Fangio because his previous job was a head coach. And I think it's always tough for guys who become a head coach to go back to being a coordinator and fully accept not being in control of everything. Because I'm sure there are ways that Fangio probably feels like he would run the team differently. You talk about discipline. Fangio and McDaniel are completely different styles of coaches, right? McDaniel is a very extroverted, positive, kind of uplifting guy. Fangio is a very direct, and sometimes it could be like tell you to your face you're not doing it, you're not good type guy. And he's actually very quiet on the field. And so they're completely different styles of coaches. So I'm sure, even if he privately says it in his head, there's probably times Fangio's like, what is this dude doing? Like, I wouldn't do it that way, right? But they're completely different styles. I don't think that makes a guy want to say, I'm done, I quit, I think that if what they're saying is true, which I have no reason not to believe it, that McDaniel is allowing Fangio essentially to be the head coach of the defense and isn't necessarily meddling in his business, like telling him what personnel to play, to blitz or not to blitz, to do this or not to do, then I don't really see why Fangio wouldn't come back and he may just want more say in, hey, Chris, I need to get a different run stuffing defensive tackle in there. Raekwon Davis is not doing it for me. I need a different run stuffing defensive tackle right there. Or I need to improve play at safety. I know we got Javon out there, but I need to go get another guy, whether it's a draft guy or free agent. Like those type things, I think maybe something Fangio may be more vocal with this offseason than previous. But to be honest, I actually like the fact that McDaniel and Fangio are completely different styles. I don't think it would work if you had a defensive coordinator that was like McDaniel, that was very positive, and I just think you can't have a whole happy team. Somebody's got to be the good cop, bad cop, so to speak. And not saying Fangio's the bad cop, but he's got the opposite personality, which I think is a good thing. They're just in a state of transition. Like I don't know the answer. There's not an easy route, which I think is why this is going to be such a difficult offseason for Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel. There's not a like in previous off seasons, you can say if this happens, the Dolphins are in great shape to be a contender. If this happens, like I think this past off season, we were like, hey, and honestly, we're probably wrong. If Tua stays healthy and they play good or better offense than they did last year, and the defense improves, this team should be a top contender, right? That was the sort of quote unquote Tua stayed healthy all 17 games. The offense, although it collapsed at the end, was number one in total rankings. And the defense on paper was better. And so all three of those things happened, and they still did not take a step forward in the result of the season. And so at this point, they're like, man, we hit X, Y, and Z of our quote unquote goals, but it didn't change the result. What's next? And I don't really have a great answer given where they are with the salary cap in the current roster.
Although I'm of the thing that I think they'll have the flexibility because they're going to get rid of a lot of players.
Yeah, I'd imagine obviously Emmanuel Ogbah would be gone. I think there's a decent chance that you may have seen the last of Xavier Howard. But the problem with it, I will say with Xavier Howard, he has a lot of dead cap money on that contract. And so I bet you they try to come to him and see if they can restructure that deal, something that makes it team friendly for one more year so that they don't eat the cap money all this year. But, X has been underpaid and quote unquote overpaid and back and forth. I don't know if you can convince a guy like him to take a significant cut off his salary, but we'll see.
He's had 7 interceptions in 3 years since he had the 10.
Yeah.
He's been overpaid for a long time.
I don't think anybody's overpaid. I think you pay what you're
that's fine. You can say one way, I'll go the other way and say he was over. See, since I was the one that said trade him now after the 10 interceptions, and
So you did say after the 10 interception year that he was underpaid, though, right?
Yeah.
And so we all kind of.
No, what I was complaining about is that every year he was complaining about money and holding out for money. And that was my problem, plus his injuries, plus his offseason problems. And that's why I said it'll never get better than it is right now after this 10 interception season.
That's fair. And he is getting older. And you can tell his play is not the top 5 corner play that it had been in previous years. I still think that he is a very good starting cornerback. He's probably just not in the elite top 5 category anymore. And your pay probably should represent that. But the issue I will say is because of how they've kind of kicked the can down the road for his contract, they are essentially like, if they get rid of him, it's like $20+ million in dead cap that'll just sit on their cap this year. And so, they'll figure it out, but that's not really a advantageous situation.
No, I know, but they have to pull the scab. And, unfortunately,
I do think there's going to be some scabs pulled, which is why I said that it would not shock me if you're coming back and seeing this team after the draft in May and you're saying, man, the roster's worse than it was when we played our last game, quote unquote, looks like on paper, right?
I got a question for you about flexibility. And I'm not sure because I reached out to an agent friend of mine. I'm waiting for an answer. Maybe you know this answer. I didn't want to put you in an uncomfortable position because sometimes we don't have all the answers. We're not really agents and we don't know all the contract stuff. If you give Tua a new contract, it starts in 2025 because he's fifth year extension is 2024, correct? Right?
Typically, yes. It depends. Sometimes you can rip up the whole contract and start anew, but most teams do what you call an extension. and an extension leave your current 2024 deal intact.
Okay, so
sometimes they'll do something like, hey, we'll move if he's, I don't know what the 5th year option's worth, maybe 25 million, 22.5, right? They could do something of like, hey, we're going to convert 21 of that 22.5 into a signing bonus. And so your base salary could be like 1.5 this year. So they adjust that part of the contract, but you don't lose that money. It just translates into making the signing bonus and guarantee, quote unquote, higher. That's something that's, possible.
You already answered my question. They're definitely giving him a long-term contract then, because if that's the only way to free up $21 million, because they can't do it now because he's only playing on that final year. Right. So you're not going to have any flexibility. Right. So they're going to sign Tua, and his agent knows that they need the money, so they've got him by the balls. So actually, Tua's deal is a done deal already, actually, because they need the $21 million. Because I don't think Wilkins comes back. Okay, I don't think there'll be a
big loss. That's a big loss.
Yeah, they got their full draft load. They'll draft another guy. And
another Cam Smith?
Huh?
Another Cam Smith?
I don't know. Cam Smith might be a good player. It's just
he might, but we have no idea because he's not playing.
Hey, dude, I was around watching Pat Surtain lost his first year too. I've seen this. I don't give up on people in their first year. Okay, Omar and I went at it.
I'm not giving up on Cam Smith.
Omar and I went at it on Jay Ajayi. On his rookie year, he didn't play a lot, and then he had like a rib injury and a hamstring injury, and then towards the end, he played a couple games, and he actually looked all right. And I had that same kind of discussion with, he had a terrible rookie year. I'm like, dude, you can't give up on a kid after 1 year. And I knew about his knee. I knew all the scouts told me that guy's a one contract guy. Right. So, you know what I mean? But still, I said, you can't give up on him because young guys can get by for a while with those bad knees. After you get older, you can't deal with it anymore. But he came back and had a great year. So I'm not going to give up on Cam until I really see that he can't play. You know what I mean? And
I won't give up on Cam either. In fact, it's the opposite. I wish we saw more of him this year. And I think that not seeing more of Cam Smith was a big mistake by the coaching staff because it puts you in a position of unknown going into 2024 season, right? Like we're talking about getting rid of X and what that could mean, right? X is say what you want about X and not being the 10 interception guy in the past. X has been, when he's healthy, a pretty reliable starting corner, And so is Cam Smith a pretty reliable starting corner? We have no idea. We have nobody can say with certainty that Cam Smith, you put him in there, is a reliable corner. In fact, Vic Fangio just told you all season he'd rather have Ethan Bonner playing over Cam Smith, which if you trust anything about Vic Fangio should scare you. And so that to me is a big question mark. And if he's not the guy, then you got to go out there and find another corner. And that's got to be a premium pick. But what about left tackle? Because Teron Armstead could be done or on his last year. What about safety? What about defensive tackle? If you're getting rid of Christian Wilkins, you're going to need another defensive tackle in there. You talk about edge rushers. You got your top 2 edge rushers coming off multiple
the 21st pick could be a defensive tackle. It won't be a tight end because the Bowers kid is a top 10.
Right.
So, and there's no other tight end in the first round. So 21st is usually where some defensive tackles go. So I could see them taking a defensive tackle in that first round, and Christian Wilkins is out. I think Ogbah's gone. I think Christian Wilkins is gone. X is gone. There's going to be a lot of salary purge going on with this team. And that's why I think that they're going to have some flexibility. And then the Tua, you gave me my Tua answer. If they can rework that 5th year, for sure he's getting a long-term contract then because they need that $21 million. So Tua, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty of time to talk about this as the offseason goes on. I actually am not ready to have the Tua conversation because I'm going to talk about it for 6 months. But I will say this, and this is all I will say because I know people are going to have this conversation throughout the offseason. The top 8 quarterbacks in the league are making $45 million to $55 million a year. That is your range. There is no way in the world that Tua and his people are taking a deal that's less than $45 million a year, with notable guarantees. Yeah.
And it's probably going to be higher. And so, and like you said, the point about the cap and knowing the Dolphins need to get under the cap, that's something that I promise you Tua and his reps know as well. And so, you know, you can say about how the season ended and you can't pay him and you can make him play his fifth-year option. That all sounds great on paper.
Happen anymore.
We'll see what happens.
Dude, they're at 40 under, right? The Tua move gets them under 20 already at that point. You know what I mean? So once you let go of Agba, you've almost erased all 40. And that's why I'm saying that they're going to be able to get under the cap with no problem. And the Tua move, you answered my question already. If they can get $20 million out of that, they're going to do that. Guaranteed they will do it because they're signing a 5-year deal. So what they do is they tag on $4 million to each of those years, and that's it on the back end. You know, that's how the game is played. Whatever, bro. It is what it is. So that's probably what's going to end up happening, you know, when it's all said and done. So no Belichick for you then, right?
No. I like Bill. I think Bill's a heck of a coach.
That's crazy.
He's not going to be the Dolphins head coach.
It's crazy.
We'll end up. It sounds like he'll end up somewhere. Atlanta seems like there's some smoke there. You know, to me, the Chargers seem like an excellent fit, but they're doing their homework with Harbaugh. We'll see. But I do think Belichick ends up somewhere. He wants to get Shula.
Thanos will have 8 heart attacks writing the checks he needs for Harbaugh and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that cheap bastard. Oh my God, he's going to flip out watching Harbaugh ask him for everything. That's a lot of money for a guy that doesn't even have his own stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, doggy. That's you know, they have their history. You know what I'm saying? If I'm Harbaugh, I gotta get all that in writing from that cheap bastard because I would not trust that guy as far as I can throw him. You know, Arthur Blank will give you whatever you need. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to Washington, they'll give him whatever he needs. The Chargers, I don't trust that guy, dude. I just don't trust that guy. I don't know about that one. That one's weird. All right, safe travels, my man. I appreciate you as always. We'll catch up later on in the week.
All right, sounds good.
You got it. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. We have unleashed the Wolf Pack.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Hour number 2 is next. Manny Navarro, he's ready to go. Let's start it off right now.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Here we go. How you doing, my man? You feeling all right?
Feeling good, Oh. How are you?
Very good, very good. Yesterday, I had Cougars beat writer Jamie Vinnick on.
Okay.
To talk a little bit about Cam Ward. And it's interesting. Mario didn't recruit a scrambler. He's not really much of a runner. He'll buy himself some time.
Right.
But he's really a guy that is more of a pure pocket passer than anything else.
Yeah, and I think, Cam Ward wants to be known as that for the next level. I think if he has to run, he can take off and run and make plays, but it's sort of like C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud was the same way, I think, at Ohio State. He wasn't a big-time runner. He was a guy that stayed in the pocket, wanted to make plays with his receivers, and I think with this offensive line, I mean, that's a huge upgrade over what he had at Washington State. And who knows what happens in the transfer portal going forward, but Miami could end up with another elite receiver to add to, two guys that are coming back with some pretty good numbers.
Okay, well, is Mario going to allow this kid to grow? Are we going to sling it, or what's the deal?
Yeah, no, I think that's the plan with the air raid, and that's the plan with Cam Ward. You got to remember here, every year we're going to have quarterbacks entering the transfer portal. And so in a lot of ways, this is, I don't want to say a debut. I'm looking for the right word. Like it's an opportunity for Mario to prove, hey, I cannot just bring in really talented quarterbacks that everybody in the country wants like Cam Ward, but I'm going to let them flourish, right, and do their thing, because he needs to prove that he can, that guys can flourish in his system. He's got a bad rap right now as a quarterback guy. So to me, Cam Ward coming in here, it's an opportunity for Mario to sort of maybe restore his image for future quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro, because he needs to restore his image with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because the coaching has been, the game day coaching, bro, has been, whether it's Mike McDaniel or Mario Cristobal, each of them drive me crazy on Saturdays and Sundays. The kind of shit that goes on between both of them on the sidelines, it just drives me freaking crazy, dude. It really
drives
does.
Drives a lot of people crazy, and a lot of people who give money to this program to support it. I mean, it's obviously different college to pro, right? You're selling tickets, you have an NFL TV, all those kind of things. Miami right now is flourishing because there's a lot of private money coming in to help their NIL program, and people want to start seeing results. And I think at some point, this is the year 3. You flip the roster, you've got a quarterback. The excuses are out the window.
No, definitely, man. I mean, you got to start getting it. I mean, Mario's great in every other aspect of it, dude.
Yeah.
I love him everywhere else, but on game day, I'm like, yo, Mario, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Please, brother.
For sure.
Man, it's been rough as hell. So the Canes are in on another receiver, is what you're saying.
Well, I think they're certainly looking at guys that are out there and available. You've had some coaching changes here recently, which opens the 30-day transfer window. You had it at Alabama. You had it at Washington. Now you have it at Arizona with Jed Fish leaving. So there's some good, talented receivers, I think, on all of those rosters. There's also some good DBs. I know Gabby Urrutia from 247 Sports reported, I think, about an hour ago, that one of the top available DBs on the market, a kid, I think his name's Michelle, is the way you pronounce the first name, Michelle Powell, who started at safety for Washington, started all 15 games for the team that finishes the national runner-up, 6'1", 210 pounds. He's coming down here. He just visited Florida. He's going to visit Miami afterwards. So, look, Miami needs safety help, right? They lost Cam Kitchens. They lost James Williams. That's a big concern for me. I know they've got some young guys that they hope develop and get better here, but I want the proven guys. I want a guy who started on a national championship program that played for the national championship. So I think that's an important potential target. And there's going to be guys in the receiving, at receiver. Arizona, we've got to see if those kids are going to end up entering the portal. They have a talented quarterback, and they have a really talented receiver, McMillan. I can't pronounce his first name. It's like Trattoria or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, he's put up huge numbers his first 2 years in college football. So we will see who ends up entering the portal and looking to go elsewhere. But you would think that Cam Ward is going to have some pull to bring in another receiver.
Yeah, and maybe is there anything out there with the Cougs? Well, they didn't have a coaching change, right? So we have to wait for the spring window, like you were talking about with possibly quarterbacks. Now it'll be for other positions because they found their quarterback, correct?
Correct. And I think that's what you look for. Besides these three schools that just had three major Power 5 programs that all either made the playoffs or won 10 games where they had good players, the next 30 days, those players can go looking elsewhere.
And maybe even Michigan will have that window open too soon, right? Because
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, a lot of these teams have South Florida players on the roster. Maybe they decide, hey, I want to go home. But look, the bottom line is this team right now, as is, with Ward at quarterback, with those two receivers coming back in Jacoby George and Xavier Restrepo, and then some of the guys that they signed out of high school, you're hoping that they take a jump up. And by the way, Mark Fletcher, I did get a little bit of an update on him. I know you were asking me about him following the bowl loss.
Yeah.
The injury that he had, he should be back in time for the start of the season.
The injury is?
It's toe related, foot related.
Oh, okay.
It's not an Achilles. So that's what my understanding is from what I gathered yesterday when I reached out and finally got somebody on the phone who I know would tell me the truth. So he'll miss about 3 or 4 months from what my understanding is, but he should be back in time for fall practice.
Good, bro. That guy's a stud, bro. I don't care about the fall practice. I just care for him to be ready for the damn season.
All right, he'll be ready for the summer. He'll be back in time to summer workouts, and then be ready to be the number one guy in that backfield.
Number one guy, a player in the NFL.
Yep.
Mark Fletcher is the real deal.
I was telling you that when he was coming out of high school. Didn't I say that to you multiple times? I'm like, this dude's for real.
Yes, but I never believe any of that shit until I actually see them here. You know what I mean? Because
I knew he had the physical side of it,
like an NFL player, and then he just had a minor league mind. So it's just like you never know with these guys. It's like you got to see them, and Mark Fletcher is the shit, dude. That guy is the shit. Okay, I would love to see him in a Dolphins uniform. That's what I would.
You may in a couple years or 2 years.
Maybe I would love to see that, man. Do you think Harbaugh leaves, by the way?
I think it's turning that way. I think, Michigan's probably going to face some repercussions from the NCAA in light of all the trouble that they got in for, cheating gate. I would assume that he probably doesn't want to be there for that. He's been trying to go to the NFL for a couple of years now anyway. And he wants to win a Super Bowl. There's a lot of jobs open. I think he's in prime position to make the jump.
Two things. One, he accomplished what he had to accomplish, win the national championship at Michigan. It took him forever and billions of dollars in order to get to it, okay? Not millions. They probably spent billions at Michigan already by this point to win that one championship.
Yep.
There was only one way to go from here, and that's down. So, just in case you don't continue to live up to that, it's time for your ass to get out and go chase the next challenge that you didn't finish when you were in San Francisco. I think he's gone for sure because the stuff you talked about and then the stuff I talked about that, okay, if you don't start winning national championships, it's only going to get worse for you from here on out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to me, that's why it's like you're better off going to the NFL.
And an NFL team doesn't care about, I don't think they care about whether or not a guy broke some NCAA rules. Obviously those rules are pretty antiquated about scouting anyway. I don't know why.
Belichick breaks rules all the time, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. It's the rules are there to be broken. Hey, no changes in the coaching staff?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm hearing, not that I'm getting any inkling for. I think, if Mario feels like he can upgrade at a certain spot, he'll do it. He'll wait right up until the fall. He did it before. He's moved guys around. He's moved guys from being assistants to being administrators on the staff. So I think it's just a matter of who becomes available and whether or not he's got a relationship with them and that guy wants to come here. And if it's a quality upgrade, he'll do that. Look, the NFL jobs obviously still have to be filled, right? So there'll be some head coaches being hired and maybe pulling guys from the college ranks. Maybe somebody leaves on him and he's got to replace that guy. That's something that still those dominoes have to fall.
What are you working on the athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, we've had a lot of movement in the transfer portal, right, for the last month, and I'm doing sort of a roundup ACC, SEC, kind of who are the winners and losers of the transfer portal so far. Where does Miami fit into that picture for ACC? Let me tell you, Louisville's gone out like crazy. People talk about a hell of a job that guy did in his first year, going back to his alma mater, and getting them to the ACC championship game. They got like 25 transfers, so I don't think Louisville's going anywhere. They're a team that I think will still be up there. So we'll paint a picture of what's kind of happened here in the first month plus of the transfer portal, and start to give college football fans a little bit of an idea of what to expect in 24.
All right. Follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. And don't forget, folks, Caneswear, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off online at caneswear.com or in person, 2566 South University Drive in Davie. Manny, we will catch up later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Thank you, sir. There you go. A little Caneswear for you all out there. Our Manny Navarro Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. Any super chats there? Don't forget, there it is, our business line. If your business wants to be a part of our platform, you want to support our platform, maybe we could do live shows at your business. Maybe you could be a sponsor of one of our insider segments. Give us a ring, 786-754-4664. This is strictly for sponsorship purposes. It's not a talk line. Okay, so nobody's going to be talking sports or anything on there. All right. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can always make a Bitcoin donation. And, we love our Bitcoin donations. Hateful Steve chimes in on Venmo. Let's see. Ross also gets the Dolphins back in the headlines, which he loves. And Bill also likes pocket passers. Yeah. Still don't think it'll happen, but it's a fun conspiracy theory I wanted to throw out there. And appreciate it as always, Steve. Thank you. What else do we have? Oh, and we have Jason Myers. Thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. Very nice of you. Very nice. Any other super chats out there? Broch's podcast. Thank you, sir, for the love there on the super chat. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Need to come to Cali and do a show. Well, get a sponsor. And, sponsor wants to fly us out there. We'll go out there. No, I'm not getting a talk line. There's no reason for a talk line. Talk lines are useless. Most of the time, the people that get through for talking, they really bring nothing to the table, and then you're stuck with them on the line. And then they kind of start talking about something that is not going on the show or whatever, and they want to take it in another direction. This is better. That way we pick and choose, some good comments. We'll laugh at some of the bad ones and things like that. It's more controllable. So, yeah. And plus, we also learn having a line is useless. Did it at onside. That was the one mistake I made at onside that I would take back. besides actually doing the whole thing. Although I did learn some stuff, so I got production out of it. You know what I mean? I just got a lot of heartache from it, which I didn't need, to be quite honest. You know, when you work with people that don't know what the hell they're doing, and it's kind of tough. So, it's hard to do something when you're not supported. I've had to deal with that a lot in my career, unfortunately, but that's kind of the way it goes, right? You just got to find a way to overcome, and that's exactly what we do. Pendle is up 20%. It's up to $2.05. Yes. Pendle up 20, almost 21%. Kryptonite up 26%. And Van Aert Chain up 8.5%. I wonder who gave you these three. I wonder. Tell you. How are markets doing? Still down, bro. Dow Jones is down 177 points. The S&P is down 8. NASDAQ is barely up 0.33%. Not good. But crypto's doing all right. Let's see. Can't believe Big O called me an idiot because I said Tua is a choke artist. Yeah, well, you're an idiot. Like I said, we get to pick the stupid ones. So there you go. What else do we have? It's everybody's fault when Tua plays bad. Exactly. That's what it is. When you hit that many draft picks, you lose players to free agency. I'd rather have that problem every so often than bust after bust. I agree. Big O, we don't agree on Tua, but can you explain the logic to extend him with a year left on his contract? Jay, I can't explain anything to you, my brother. You don't like Tua. I already told you guys this. I'm not here to convince you anymore. I don't care, bro. I've already gone through this for 3 years. I don't give a shit anymore, Jay. I'm not here to convince you, bro. Okay? That's all. I don't care about convincing you. Don't care if you don't like Tua. And that's it. I'm going to give you my opinion. You don't like it? Too bad. That's all. I don't know what else to tell you, dude, but I am not wasting my time on you people. I'm not, because it's useless. You're not going to get convinced anyways. You set your mind already on one course. You don't like the kid. You don't want him here. You don't want him signed. That's it. Conversation's over, bro. That's all. There's nothing to talk about anymore, Jay, with Tua at all. Nothing. You hate him and you don't want him. That's it. End of story. I don't need to convince you of jack shit, dude, at all. Don't care if you don't like him. Don't care if you don't want him. Don't care if you're pissed off. Don't care if you're frustrated that they sign him. I don't give a shit, Jay. I don't know how much more clear. I think I said that yesterday. I'm going to say it again. I'm not here to convince you people. I don't give a shit, bro. That's all. The Dolphins should trade Waddle for a first rounder this season and get a tight end. No way we can pay Tua $50 million, Reek $30 million, and Waddle $25 million. Anyway. Let's see. What position do you want Miami to draft in the first round? Joel, I don't know who's available yet. I don't know all the players that are available yet. But at 21, you're looking at, you're not going to get a tight end there because Bowers is the only first round tight end. He's going to go away before that. So the rest of the tight ends start in the second round. So at 21st, you're probably looking at a defensive lineman or offensive lineman is probably what you're looking at, or a linebacker if there's a badass linebacker in that area. But again, I don't know all the juniors that I've declared yet. So until I know all the players that I've declared, then we'll know who's in the draft and what area and all that kind of stuff. But it's just too early right now to figure out who at 21. But just outside guess, D-O lineman or linebacker. Okay? That's what I'm going to guess. So, anyway. I didn't want to hire Belichick, bro. Jason Flynn. I'm having fun with conspiracy theory idiots that would come up with something like that. But I get it. Stupid people don't really listen. Just like when I was talking about Mike McDaniel, they're like, oh, you want to fire Mike? No. I said that if it continues by the end of next year, you will want to fire Mike McDaniel. Everyone will want to fire Mike McDaniel. But I get it. People don't listen, like you, Jason. There's lots of you out there in this world. You don't really pay attention to what's actually going on and what we're saying. So, but it's all in fun because I wanted to make fun of conspiracy theorists. I'm the guy that says McDaniel and Tue are coming back. That's not even up for debate. Samuel Rosa Carson Wentz was once in my MVP conversations. Well, the first couple of years, he was a badass. He lost his mojo, lost that edge. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not sure what happened to that dude, but that dude had an edge. And then it was gone. So, let's see what else. Why do people want Belichick? I don't think I haven't heard people wanting Belichick at all. I'm not sure of that. I haven't seen anybody say they really want Belichick. So, best inside linebacker O lineman available at 21. I told you, Andy, I haven't looked. I'm not even bothering to look right now, bro. I need to know who's available. I don't waste my time with silly hypotheticals that will change in a month because then other people declare and then it changes the entire complexion of the draft. So I don't like doing that because it's just a waste of time. So let's see what else. Would like to see Waddle step in that number one role. Hill won't be here forever. What I'd like is for both of them to catch the ball consistently is what I'd like. That's what I like. Okay. Big O, I'll be the first to say, fire McDaniel, call me crazy or premature, but I've never been on board with him. Well, lots of people feel like you. They're not going to fire him. They're not going to fire him. And you got to bring him back and give him. There's a lot of potential in McDaniel. Even though I'm at a point where I'm wondering if he will ever change, to be quite honest. Okay. By the way, Sloman's Home Shield is a proud sponsor of our program, 1-800-ALARM-ME. And not only about the alarm system, and they've been protecting Americans for 100 years here, but they've been selling heating oil for a long time, folks. And it's winter, and, you see right now Cam Wolf is up in Buffalo freezing his ass off. He's there for another day. That poor guy. There isn't enough money in the world. Anyway, we're in several states in the north. 1-866-OIL-DEAL, Sloman's Home Shield. They've got fixed prices, okay? So you're going to deal with this for the next couple of months. You know what you spend monthly in heating oil? Call Sloman's. They've got fixed prices for you. You're going to save hundreds in the long run. Tell them that the Big O Show sent you. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. And we're going to give you a free doorbell camera if you're looking for a new alarm. 1-800-ALARM-ME, folks. And when you call them and you tell them that the Big O Show sent you and you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, you're also going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. So call the great people at Sloman's Home Shield. Our home is protected with Sloman's. So is, by the way, Sean Stanley, Welton Realm. They called Sloman's Home Shield and everything. I'm telling you, folks, get on board Sloman's Home Shield. Please call the people that support our platform. Very important you support the sponsors that support our platform and make this thing go every single day. So if you're looking for the alarm system, 1-800-ALARM-ME. If you're looking for heating oil, 1-866-OIL-DEAL. All right. Anyway, Mike is good. Tua got 4,600 yards, and we had 2 running backs with almost 1,000 yards. You can't put this on the – I'm putting it all on the coach. Chris, my brother, you're making it so simplistic, okay, that it sounds, excuse me here, extremely ignorant, okay? All those stats that you told me, that's all horse shit, dude. It's all horse shit. Okay? The stats don't mean shit to me. Individual accomplishments mean nothing. Tyreek's drops. He lost the Kansas City game by himself. Okay? He's constantly dropping footballs. And so is Waddle. That's on the coach. There's no discipline whatsoever. Pre-snap penalties. You saw it this past week. How many 3rd and 7s or 8s turned into 3rd and 12 or 13? It's on the coach. When you run the ball 4 straight times with Mostert and you get 6, 3, 4, and 8 yards, and you're in 3rd and 4th and 1, and you get cute and you pass and you screw everything up instead of continuing to run with Mostert, that's on the coach, my brother. Okay? Using the stats, that's lazy-ass bullshit you did. You got that, Chris? Lazy-ass bullshit. All right? This coach is a freaking disaster. He barely ever wins a challenge. Thank God he finally won one here last week. It's a joke what's going on with McDaniel. You heard the quarterback talk about the plays come in late, can't change protections, can't change the play because it's too late. How's a quarterback at an advantage there? How is your team at an advantage when you're driving against Baltimore and there's like 2:06 left in the half, and you, instead of just let the 2-minute warning, you're on their 40-yard line, what are you hurrying up a play for? Your team isn't even clean at setting up on a regular clock. You're going to hurry up your offense, and there goes the turnover because you forced a play and you forced everything into a mistake. Chris, my brother, please, don't be simplistic, okay? Don't be lazy, because that's what you are. Oh, well, they're 4,600 yards, 2,000-yard backs. Oh, yeah, no, that's fantastic. No, it's fantastic to watch Waddle lose the Cincinnati game all by himself last year and watch Tyreek lose the Kansas City game all by himself this year. It's really fantastic. Waddle just came back this week to do what? Drop another pass. That's all of McDaniel. This team is as undisciplined as it gets. It makes mistakes and penalties, and there's Christian Wilkins with a stupid penalty. This team is not a smart football team. It's on McDaniel a couple weeks ago when Tyreek doesn't catch the ball. We all know it. We see the highlight, and they're not rushing to the line to try to get another down. And there's McDermott waiting for it. It wasn't McDermott. Was it Harbaugh or something like that? Throwing the flag. I mean, this team has no intelligence. They're not savvy. Okay? And they make mistakes left and right. And the play caller is terrible. So please, don't give me stats. Stats are for losers. I'll go with that with Jimmy Johnson. Stats are for losers. I mean, seriously, come on, man. That's like, Jesus. I've heard that too many times. So you brought me over the edge already, Chris. Anyway, it's like McDaniel is zoned out during games. Dude can never win a freaking challenge to save his life. Hey, he doesn't have an awareness of what's going on in the game either. And he's just too involved in his play calling, and he's not even good at it. That's why I'm saying the changes he has to make for next year, I'm afraid, because I don't know if he's competent enough to actually do it. I don't know how he becomes you tell me how Mike McDaniel now, with the way his personality, How does he become a disciplinarian? Because I don't remember that ever. I don't. Wait a minute. I don't remember the nice guy that became the disciplinarian and it worked. If you can find it, please tell me who it was, because I'd like to know, and maybe I'll remember and I'll agree with you, or I'll tell you, no, I don't agree with you. But I do remember the jerk that became more of a people person. Can you help me out here? Because he won the championship with the Giants. Not Fassel, the older guy. That he then kind of changed his ways and was, I think when he went to Jacksonville, right? Or something like that. Or I forgot I think it was something like that. What's his name, bro? The old man that won the championship. Or, yeah, I think so. Tom Coughlin. Thank you. Tom Coughlin. That's the only guy that I remember that was like this hard ass and then had to kind of change his ways, and it kind of worked for him a little bit. That's about it. That's the only guy that I remember, and it's the reverse. Now, he did it in another organization. He didn't do it in the same organization. That I have not seen. The jerk that became the nice guy in the organization and successful, or the nice guy that became a disciplinarian in the same organization. Tom Coughlin did it in another organization. So, a little different. But still, it's about the closest thing I can come up with. It's the closest thing I can come up with. No, Bill Parcells was the same guy. Chris, you are like you're batting like zero, bro. You need to sit on the bench today. Just for today, Chris, sit on the bench. Relax. Just watch and listen. No more suggestions and no more opinions. Pete Carroll's been the same guy. Same energetic, competitive guy. That's never changed about Pete. Now, he was way more energetic when he was young. You youngins don't know what I'm talking about. You have no idea. I don't even think young Dolphin fans know Pete Carroll's history with the Dolphins. I bet you that. I bet you 99% of young people have no idea of the history of Pete Carroll with the Dolphins when he was a young coach on the East Coast. Anyway, what's it called? Give Bevel a raise, a seat in the booth, and play calling duties, or find someone. McDaniel doesn't have the other head coach stuff down yet. Exactly. He can't do it all. He can't call plays, manage the game, and adjustments. He cannot. He just does not have the capacity to do it. I think he's an ADD guy. So I don't think ADD people can be on the sidelines handling all that stuff. You know, he's like he's super smart. You can tell, but I think he's an ADD guy. And you have to have awareness as a head coach of everything going on. And he clearly does not have that. So, yeah, it's a problem. Yeah. Look at Giovanni and One-Eyed Jack. There we go. Figured Giovanni would know. I've seen enough of his comments on here to know he's a fan. He's been around a while. So, Big O, letter grade for the Dolphins. Yeah, D+ is about, yeah. I'm not even giving him a C. Yeah. You can't finish 2-4, bro. Can't lose a Tennessee game. Can't constantly keep getting embarrassed by Buffalo. And your coach has to do better of managing the game. He's terrible. Big O, I agree with you that McDaniel on the fact that he looks ADD. It's kind of what it looks like. You know? You understand there's a real possibility Tua is not just good enough to beat the Troy, brother. Your thing is old already. I get it, bro. I told you already. I'm not here to talk you out of it. I don't give a shit, dude. Just don't give a shit. I think you're all wrong. That's all I can say. That's it. Big O, is the merch out yet? No, it's my fault too. Big O, was Dick Vermeil a player's coach, or was he he was a tough SOB, but very emotional. A very tough coach. When he got to the Rams, he had like 3-hour practices and the players were complaining and all that kind of shit. And, that was his second go around from the Eagles, where he, because he's so emotional. Like, he's an intense coach, tough coach to play for, will demand like crazy. But Dick is a little different than some of these other coaches like Bill Parcells or Shula. While he could be as demanding as those guys, right? He also had a connection with players. Like, he truly showed them that he cared about them. Once you cross that threshold with Vermeil, like, once he trusted you as a player, he showed you love. You know what I mean? So once you prove that you belonged in the NFL and he could count on you, like any coach, dude, coaches aren't going to love people that they can't count on. I mean, it's just, it doesn't help you. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. So once Vermeil knew who you were, then you knew he cared about you, but he was going to ride your ass. So you had to understand he loved you, but, I don't know. My dad was like that. I don't know. Some of your parents, I know you newbies, your parents can't be like that with you because we know you millennials and Gen Zs are. But those of us that are a little older, you had that, right? You had the parent that was tough and then loved you, right? That's kind of the way it was. We all had, some of us had parents that were just flat out hard asses, didn't show love, right? I didn't really have those kind of parents, but I know some of my friends that did, that their dad was just like an ogre. He cared, but he was just an ogre all the time. You know what I mean? And then there's the soft parents that are just always nice. It's probably Mike McDaniel. But I don't remember the nice guy that became a disciplinarian. So I don't know how he becomes a disciplinarian now. I really don't. So let's see. McDaniel makes no improvement in his coaching in 2 years. Defense got a bit better under Fangio, and that added to it. No, what added the 2 additional wins was keeping Tua healthy, my brother. That's what it was. Let's not kid ourselves. The hell are you talking about? Well, the reason why you got 11 wins is because Tua was on the field. That's all. It's not because of the defense. It had nothing to do with the defense. If the defense did their jobs, you would have 12 wins. Tennessee, that would have been the 12th win. So I'll go with Tua staying healthy. That's why you got 11 wins. Last year, you got 8 with Tua, and you squeezed out 1 out of 5. Big O, toughest loving coach of all time was Vince Lombardi. Most of his players were afraid of him, LOL, but he was a great coach as well and got results. Yes, I don't know so much about his personality, but I can guarantee you it's not even close to Dick Vermeil. That I've never seen a coach like Dick Vermeil. I'm sure Lombardi did not have the emotional ties to his players the way Dick Vermeil did. Dick Vermeil ended up crying on press conferences all the time. Certain players you would ask him about, and he'd break down talking about the player. Literally, go look at Dick Vermeil press conferences. There's a good chance he might cry in one of them. And when he was coaching, dude, he was a hard ass. I mean, a perfectionist. Let's see. Oh, every offseason, Tua has improved something to his game. What do you think he focuses on this season? Just the turnovers. Because you're in this situation, you cannot turn over the football. And to me, that's where I would be critical of Tua this year, is that he turned over the ball too much. And he's got to do a better job of that. And maybe you got to take charge of the offense a little bit more. Because if your offensive coordinator is not going to put you in a, position all the time, then you need to kind of help yourself out a little bit here. The bigger problem is the coordinator. That's the biggest problem on the Miami Dolphins right now is Mike McDaniel by miles. It's not even close. Okay? It's then the special teams coach. I don't have an issue with any of the players. Okay? Some of them got to improve. Tua's got to stay away from turnovers. The receivers got to stop dropping balls. Key balls. That's the problem with Tyreek and Waddle. They drop third downs. They drop touchdowns. They drop things that were in scoring drives, killing drives. I don't know why, but they seem to choose moments that are the worst moments to drop passes. That's got to be fixed. Some of that stuff has got to be fixed. But overall, the players I'm not as concerned about as I am about the head coach. The head coach is not a good head coach right now. He doesn't put his team in an advantage every week. He puts them at a disadvantage. He has no adjustments. None. You get stifled, he has no answer. I've never seen that. Except from Joe Philbin. Oh, man. So, in today's NFL, a small, unathletic QB is only going to take you so far. I know, right? Drew Brees only won a title. I know. Can only win so far. I know. You can only win a title with Drew Brees. That's all. In fact, with Peyton Manning, you won a title. He couldn't move and he couldn't throw. And that's a big quarterback. Big D. How's that? So you had a big quarterback that couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards, and he couldn't move more than 10 inches. And they won the Super Bowl. Pretty amazing, huh? Yep. I was thinking of Tua last night. I'm watching Baker Mayfield. Same kind of dude. Right? But he's home playing in his stadium, nice and comfortable. His defense came to play yesterday, and he made plays. And his receivers dropped passes too, by the way. Put a couple passes that were really nice. Everybody else has got to contribute, man. Everybody's got to get it done. You can win with lots of quarterbacks. I've seen lots of quarterbacks win. But I get it, Big D. You have your agenda. Even though I proved it wrong right now, because, of course, it's an agenda. You have no facts behind it. You just throw something stupid out there, and there's Drew Brees. He won it. They won with Bob Greasy, and he threw 7 passes in a game. In a Super Bowl, he threw 7 passes. You think Brad Johnson is better than Tua and they won a Super Bowl? Well, yeah, it's all right, bro. I get it. You have your agenda. It's all good. McDaniel cannot become a tough guy out of the blue. It's in your nature, isn't it? Besides, just look at him. Do you think he intimidates anybody, especially pro football players? Not one bit. Not one bit. Yep. That is the truth. So, let's see, what else do we have? Let's see. The plan the plan for Cam Smith to be Howard's replacement, but now who knows? Well, that's kind of how it goes. You know. Big old Dolphins priest, lead us in choir. I'm such a baby because the Dolphins make me cry. I only want to be with you. We all stay and fight, sir. On to the next. I agree. Yes, sir, Sean. Can't hear you. Sean? I guess no mic. I guess his mic didn't work. Anyway, let's go over some of the press conference yesterday. As I told you, the team's over 40 million in the cap. And the media has been making a big thing about it. I just want you to know that's not true. Okay? They'll be easily under the cap. They have plenty of flexibility and plenty of options to get under the cap, and they will. Whether it's Agba gone and X gone and Tua doing a deal and redoing his fifth-year option, opening up some money. Wilkins could be gone. There will be a salary purge. Okay? The Armstead stuff, I have a hard time believing that he's going to retire and leave all that money on the table. Now, he is kind of a stand-up guy, so you never know. He might end up doing it because maybe he has the scruples and he says, I'm stealing money and this is embarrassing. And I don't know. But he is stealing money. There's no doubt he's stealing money because he ain't playing a lot for the kind of money that they're paying him. So I don't know what's going to happen. I have a hard time believing he's going to retire. Okay. I really do. So the whole cap stuff, stop worrying about that. They'll get under the cap. They'll be fine. They can be players in free agency if they have to, and they'll be able to re-sign the people that they have to re-sign. Is the team going to look different? Yes, but these guys know personnel. They know how to find personnel. The real issue is the head coach. Can you figure out how to use the personnel the right way? It's the chef in the kitchen that doesn't really know how to cook. That's the real problem. What else did they ask? They asked about Connor Williams and Wilkins. As I told you already, I think Connor Williams stays along with Robert Hunt. I think you re-sign those guys because I think you have to re-sign your offensive line. It's imperative for any quarterback to have an offensive line. But I don't think Wilkins is back. I think Christian Wilkins prices himself off the team. He priced himself off the team last year without 8.5 sacks. Now that he has the 8.5 sacks and he made that play against Buffalo, he will be asking for the Quinnen Williams money. So it's up to the Dolphins. Do they decide, do we sign him? Do we keep him? I think they don't. Okay? I think he ends up asking for too much money. That's just me. That's my prediction. We'll see. What else? Training staff questions. And I understand all of this. I disagree with it because let's just go back a couple of years when Tannehill had to win had to win a game against either the Bills or the Jets in the end of the season. Both teams were terrible back then. Just one to get in the playoffs, and they didn't win. Had nothing to do with injuries. And that's the problem with some of you out there. Yeah, injuries have been a problem the last 2 years. They have, unfortunately. But every year hasn't been like that. You make it sound that way, but really it's that you suck or you're not good enough or you choke. And there's injuries. So sometimes it could be injuries. Last year clearly was injuries. I'm not going to blame injuries on the Tennessee loss, which, could have made your whole thing in the playoffs a little different. So did injuries affect you? Of course it did. But you could have also helped your case too in the process. You know what I mean? So too many of you, and this is what happens. You're lazy. Like the guy that just, no, nothing's wrong with McDaniel. The quarterback threw 4,600 yards. We had 2,000-yard receivers, 2,000-yard backs, whatever. Oh, everything's fine. No, it's not, dude. If you want to keep it simplistic and be ignorant about it, not really look at the issues, then go ahead. But the issues are there. Okay? And the training staff is not the issue. It had nothing to do with how Chubb got injured. It had nothing to do with how Teron Armstead got injured. The injuries that Tua had last year had nothing to do with the training staff. Lots of these injuries have nothing to do. X is a sack of injuries. Has nothing to do with the training staff. He's been a sack of injuries his entire career. Dan Marino had all kinds of injuries. Had nothing to do with the training staff. But your frustrations get all tangled up with the losing, with the choking, with the constant coming up short, with the constant incompetence by coaches. So then you get all caught up in the frustrations of losing that really you don't blame what really goes on most of the time. Most of the time, it's Ray Lucas throwing an interception that goes back for a touchdown against Buffalo. Most of the time, that's what happens to you. It's Dan Marino with a bone spur, and there's Ted Johnson knowing all the calls, and there's an interception for a touchdown. And Patriots beat you again. It has nothing to do with the trainers. The training staff for the Dolphins is awesome. Has zero to do with it. It has to do with the fact that the team constantly has sucked, constantly comes up short, and constantly chokes. And then they have injuries just like everybody else. That's all. But stop it with the injuries. Stop being lazy. It's just not good. Don't forget, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can also make a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo. Let's see. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, what else do we have? All right. What else do we have going on? I see crap online with pass win rate 31st in the league. I give credit to McDaniel and his staff for creating a scheme to protect Tua and the O-line. Big O, see a retard. I don't know. First of all, you gotta. I'm not sure. To protecting Tua, they had to hurry up to get rid of the ball when they had backups. They really didn't have a lot of time to start scanning the entire field. You know what I'm saying? So you had maybe one or two options, and after that, you were gone. So, the protection part, they've done a better job of it, but he did a better job of getting rid of the football, Lofi. It's actually what he did. Instead of holding on to the football, he's getting rid of the football so he can live for the next play. That's really what went on. See, you won 11 games because Tua stayed healthy. The offensive line looked better because they played better, but it was also because Tua played smarter. See, Lofi, you probably didn't live it, but I lived it. The offensive line for Miami in the Marino days, it was good on the left side. It wasn't a great line. It was Marino that was great, making super quick decisions, most of the time making the line look better than what they really were. Are we going to tell the truth, or are we going to tell the truth? Richmond Webb and Keith Sims were elite. Nothing else was. That does not make your line elite. Your center wasn't elite. Your right guard wasn't elite. Your right tackle wasn't elite. They would struggle to be even called good. Okay? It was Marino that in less than a second and a half or two, bam, it was gone. That's why you had less sacks. Sure, Richmond and Keith did their jobs, but he had to get rid of it quick because of the rest of the guys. Who are we kidding? And Tua did a marvelous job of living for the next play by getting rid of the football quickly, because what gets him in trouble? Holding on to the football. So disagree on that. Anyway. Let's see. Now it's time to shift my focus on the Lakers and San Jose Sharks. I'm here every day with you, Big O. There you go. Enjoy them Sharks. We had the same season as last year, and we didn't have no, we didn't. They won 2 more games. How can you have the same season? They won 11, not 9. They actually got into the playoffs. A week early? You know, they didn't make the playoffs on the last game of the season. Completely different. Run success rate, pass rate success in the KC game was garbage, and McDaniel was out of ideas, and we crumbled. That's because McDaniel is not a good head coach. He's not a good game day coach. That's all. He has an idea of his scheme, and he's got a good idea with it, but he doesn't really know how to completely use it. It's kind of weird, you know? So, Hard Knocks will be interesting to watch tonight. I don't know if it'll be interesting because it's what leads to the loss, so it'll be kind of deceiving because they'll be all jacked up for the week, and then you kind of know what the hell happens. So, you know, I don't know if that'll be any good. McDaniel won't talk about changes to his staff. The Fangio thing, I know they're paying him $4.5 million, but he's an old curmudgeon guy that probably already has plenty of money in the bank. So I don't think that this is a dude that desperately needs the money. I could see him walking away from this because I don't see him and McDaniel as a fit, to be quite honest. And watching the dysfunction on the offense and the fact that he doesn't have Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb next year for a large portion of the season, and even when he gets them back next year, I don't know if you guys know this, some of you out there, Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips will not be themselves next year. So you're going to get your 2 defensive ends, and they're not going to be themselves. If Vic wants to retire, I could see him retiring. I really could. Now, if he doesn't leave, which I hope he doesn't, I got to say you got to change Danny Crossman. Not that the coach is going to say that yesterday in the press conference, but Danny Crossman has to go. You must get a new special teams coordinator. Okay? Grier talked about 30 to 40% of team changes in the rosters every year, and expect that. Expect a huge purge. It's coming. They're going to have to move people. This combination isn't working, right? And the coach isn't working. So you've got to change some stuff to try to shake this thing up because it's about winning in the playoffs, not winning in the regular season. Regular season's nice. You want to win enough games to set yourself up, but you need to win in the postseason. That's what it's all about. We like finding an MVP. Heat last night defeated the Nets 96-95. And we got ourselves our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
My MVP every day is William Quigley because yards everywhere, homes, businesses, HOA complexes. They are better off because they called Cutter's Edge Pro. They are the best in the business. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. They've got over like 70 trucks. I mean, William started this off with like one lawnmower. Okay. And it's become a monster because they do it right. You know, their slogan is expect excellence. I know because I witnessed it. So when you put that up there, it's because you know you're going to live up to it. So if it comes to tree trimming and removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation, synthetic turf, which is great for dogs, by the way, the synthetic turf is the best. You're going to love it. Trust me on that. Call my friends at Cutter's Edge Pro, 954-472-0622. And our MVP last night, Jimmy Butler, back from injury, played some ball last night. He played with a lot of emotion. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Hell of a performance by Jimmy Butler. That's the kind of performance you're going to get from William, from Mike, from all the great people there at Cutter's Edge Pro. Jimmy Butler is our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Let's see. Dolphins, by the way, will have the 21st pick. I think I've mentioned that already. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Sean, last night, Heat defeated the Nets 96-95. They improved to 24-16. Tomorrow, they're in Toronto, 7:30. Ducks outlasted the Panthers last night in overtime or afternoon, 5-4. Sean Bennett did have 2 goals. Reinhardt had a goal. Stolarz had 21 saves. Tomorrow they take on Detroit at 7 o'clock. NFL playoffs yesterday. It was the Bills defeating the Steelers 31-17. Josh Allen with 3 touchdowns. Tampa Bay defeated Philadelphia 32-9. So Philadelphia's season is over. Tampa Bay moves on. Happy for Baker, bro. That was good for him. 22 of 36, 337, 3 touchdowns. Here's a guy that's been, nobody thought, a lot of people thought he couldn't play and all that stuff, and that he would end up becoming a backup, and he resurrected his career. He'll get a nice fat contract from Tampa Bay. Good for him, man. Good for him. 36-year-old Jason Kelsey is retiring. It's the other one there. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call my guy Alan Blanco for custom printing and embroidery. They're in Hialeah, but they service all of South Florida. 786-618-1443. That's 786-618-1443. All right. What else do we have going on the chat board? Let's see. Crossman seems to fix Sanders, but everything else, I think Sanders just fixed himself. I'm not giving Crossman any credit for that. I'll just go, he wasn't fixing him for the last 2 years. And then he kind of found his mojo. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. By the way, we are going to have a shooting competition, our first, and hopefully we'll do more, at Top Gun Indoor Range. All right, 12015 Southwest 114th Place, right off the Turnpike and 120th. It's right behind that small shopping center where Odyssey Arcade is, and the hole in the wall and all that kind of stuff. Right behind it, and we're gonna have some giveaways. I'm gonna try to get a trophy. That'd be kind of cool if I can get a trophy. And also, we will give out a Big O T-shirt to everybody that is participating in the shooting competition. So bring your gun. Come on out. We'll have a couple there too at Top Gun, and you can join us at the range and have some fun and check it out. And by the way, when we talk about Top Gun, it's got a really cool family atmosphere. It has got state-of-the-art. I am telling you, when I tell you state-of-the-art air quality and targeting systems, that's what it has. The only archery indoor facility in Dade County. They've got mini leagues and mini tournaments. They've got 18 lanes, 25 yards deep, self-defense classes for the ladies. They've got them also in Spanish. So they'll teach you basic pistol, concealed weapons courses. And listen, man, sometimes the ladies are alone at home, right? So, they've got to be trained themselves to protect themselves. So they've got classes in English and Spanish. So join us Wednesday, January 31st at Top Gun Indoor Range for our first ever shooting competition. Jason Meyer says, been a while since I've gone through a whole show with the Big O. It's fun. Thank you, Jason. I don't know if you would have made it yesterday. We did 4 hours yesterday. I don't know how the hell I did 4 hours yesterday. So, not sure. Chris Johnson. Oh, God. Thank you for the super chat. What player do you want them to take in the first round? I don't know. I don't know who's available. Until I find out who the juniors are available, I already answered this question. I can't answer it, unfortunately. I don't know who. The only guess I can tell you right now would be an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, or a linebacker. I can give you a position, but until I know who the juniors that are declared, I don't know. And there will be no tight end at 21 that you take. Bowers is a top 10. I know you guys have mentioned them before, but there's no other tight end that really is going to go in the first round. Unless there's a junior that I don't know about that declares, and then maybe. But I would say O-line, D-line, or stud linebacker. That would be my 3 things that I would look at in the first round. That's it. That's all I can answer, my man. And I'm not going to give any specific names until I really have a real list. And thank you for the super chat. It's meetups like this that makes me wish I still lived in South Florida. Come on by, man. Whenever you're in town, we'll be at Hialeah Park. We're Top Gun on Wednesday, Hialeah Park on Thursday, and we're at, is it Acura this week again? No, we're in Acura last week. Are we at KSDT? No, right? Oh, we are. We're at KSDT on Friday. That's it. So, but you can't visit us at KSDT. That one you can't. Unless you're going there to go do your taxes, and then you can come by and say hi to us. If you do that on Friday, they'll let you come on in and join us. So there you go. Big O stamina. He can go for 4 hours. You the man. You'd put the woman in a hospital if you go for 4 hours. Big O, Andrew Van Ginkel will be hard to re-sign. He deserves the bag, but he got injured. So that might save you a little money, man. He got injured. Sucks, but it might help you. Well, you know what? Actually, it won't, because I think it wasn't serious. I don't think he needed surgery. I'm not sure now. Now I got to find that out. Hold off on that statement. I got to find out. If it wasn't serious, then it doesn't help you. If it was serious, then it helps you. Because you can, Chris will sneak in a 2-year special, that kind of stuff. Because That's the kind of stuff that Chris Grier does. He'll pull off the 2-year special. What else do we have? Last night, we got the lines already for this week's games. We've got Baltimore favored by 9.5 against Houston. Over and unders 45.5. We've got 49ers favored by 10 over the Packers. 49.5 is also the over and under. Lions favored by 6 over the Bucs. Over and unders 48.5. I would take the Bucs in that game. I think the Bucs will keep it close because I don't like the Lions defense. I actually trust the Bucs defense more than I trust the Lions defense. How about the Bucs defense stopping the tush push yesterday? That was good. They stopped it so badly that Jason Kelce said, I'm done. That's it. They figured us out. I'm retiring. By the way, I think Travis is next. I think whenever KC season ends, I think Travis is next. 6:30 on Sunday, the Chefs, they go to Buffalo, and the Buffalo Bills are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 46.5. Okay. Got that going on. What else? Let's get to a little music history. Why don't we? Let's do that. Mix it up a little bit. Today, 1973, Bruce Springsteen played a gig at Villanova University outside of Philadelphia. There were just 25 people in the audience. Now, if you ask, thousands will tell you they were there. In 1980, Paul McCartney was jailed for 9 days in Tokyo for marijuana possession after being found with 219 grams of the drug upon his arrival at Narita Airport. I mean, didn't you listen to Chris Carter? You need a fall guy, Paul. In 84, Paul and Linda McCartney were arrested in Barbados for drug possession, and each were fined $200. They love their weed, bro. They love their weed. Weed gives you wings. It's not just Red Bull. It's also weed. In 92, Eric Clapton recorded his unplugged session for MTV. The set earned 6 Grammy Awards for the album, including Record of the Year. In 96, Jamaican authorities shot at Jimmy Buffett's plane thinking it belonged to a drug trafficker. Bono was on board during the incident, which inspired Jimmy's song, Jamaica Mistake. All right. How you doing? What are you doing shooting at Jimmy Buffett's plane? And Bono's on board. Tell you, I would have been pissed off at Jamaican authorities if they would have hurt Bono. In 78, Sex Pistols Sid Vicious fell through a glass door at San Francisco's hotel, then took a drug overdose and had to be rushed to the hospital. That's just a normal day in Sid Vicious's life, by the way. I mean, if he wasn't overdosing, he was probably getting arrested. In 87, the Beastie Boys became the first act censored by American Bandstand. The guys performed their hit party anthem, Fight for Your Rights, as they goofed around on stage. And there you go. So let's go with birthdays today. Pretty good list today, by the way. Hialeah, rest in peace. She was born on this date in 79. We lost her in 2001. Very talented, very beautiful, and missed. Kate Moss, the model, is 50 years old today. Joe Flacco is 39 today. Sade, goddess, super talent, one of the greatest creations by the Lord. Sade is 65 years old. And one of my regrets, I never saw Sade in concert. That woman is talented. And by the way, beautiful. God, she is beautiful. Beautiful, sultry, just perfection, bro. Perfection. Debbie Allen, the TV actress, is 74 years old. Hell of a list today, like I told you. Let's see what else. What else? John Carpenter, director, Halloween, 76 years old. Albert Pujols is 44 years old. And there you go. And that's your list of folks celebrating birthdays today on January 16th. By the way, Thursday, if you want a local concert, Mr. Big is in town at the Amaturo Theater in Broward. And also, Tool is in town Thursday and Friday at the Hard Rock Live. Okay? And no, I did not watch the Emmys yesterday. I don't really watch award shows much anymore. It's not a thing I enjoy anymore. Big O, is Jerome Baker gone? Yes. Jerome Baker will be part of the purge next year. Yes. So that's why I think there'll be a defensive tackle in this draft. There'll be a linebacker in this draft. And there'll be a tight end in this draft. Okay? Unless they can somehow figure out a trade for a tight end. You know, if the Giants want to unload Darren Waller or something like that, since he's going to waste over there. You know, you can maybe. Who knows? What else do we have here? I learned my lesson next year when the Dolphins light it up in September. I won't get hyped up. Mike? I mean, dude, that's just logic that you're using, you know? Why torture yourself from here on out? I thought it was going to be different this year too. And it ended up becoming the same old crap, unfortunately, you know? So it's not your fault, dude. You know? We've got your 100 no regret first bet at Hialeah Park, baby. Right there, use our QR code. Remember, if you own a Hard Rock account already, whatever phone number or email you use for that Hard Rock account, do not use it here. Go to the Hialeah Park website. You got to go through there to sign up. Just use the QR code right there. That'll take you to it right there. Okay, if you're listening on the podcast, HialeahParkCasino.com or HialeahPark.com. Go to the website there, and you can go to our no regret first bet. You'll get $100. So sign up. And remember, again, if you have a Hard Rock account already, do not use the same phone number or email. Use a completely different one so you can get the $100. If you don't use a different one, you will not get the $100 because they know that you already have an account. So I'm just trying to help you out here, trying to make you some money like we do in crypto, where we make you money. Okay? Lots of money, by the way. Lots of money you guys are making on crypto. Where are we at now? Dude, Kryptonite is up 30%. 29.64. It is approaching 11 cents. It was at the 8-cent mark. That is a huge move from yesterday. Vanar chain that I've been telling you about, it was, when I told you about it, it was in the 5-cent area, 5 to 5.5. Now it's at 6.6. So it's moved up either a cent or a cent and a half, depending on where you got in on Vanar chain. So it's up 15.93%. And Pendle, which we gave it to you when it was like at $1.40. It's at $2.08 right now, and it is up 17.78%. How do you like them apples? Huh? And I gave you some a couple of days ago. No, it was January 2nd, which is 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Let's see how some of them are doing right now. Let's see Tectum. I gave it to you at 2081. It's up 4.5% today. It's at 33.96. Okay. What else? What other ones there? Swarm Markets still down I gave it to you at 34. It's at 33 cents. It's up 1.6, but down a penny. Alephium We gave it to you at $1.08. It is down 3.3% today, but it's at $2.25, and we gave it to you at $1.08. Demo, we gave it to you at 36 cents. It's at 49 cents, up 2.3%. Hive Mapper is down 2.6% right now, but we gave it to you on January 2nd at 14 cents. It's at 24. Okay. And by the way, Pendle was at 123. I think I said 120. I got it written here, 123. And it's at 208. Just saying, just throwing it out there for you all. We're giving you the goods. It's up to you guys what you do with it. We gave you Game Swift at 57 cents. It's at 63. So a lot of them are moving. Even on dips here, you're still up. Yes. Oh, are you excited as I am with the development of Nikola Jovic? He's really improving at all his abilities. Yes, I am. This is why, Jay, 3 years ago when X has 10 interceptions, what do I tell you all? Got to trade him in the offseason. Now's the time. He's had 7 interceptions since. Okay? What did I tell you a couple years ago? You got to trade Jimmy Butler. Now it's impossible to trade him. Now he's too old. There's too much money left. And Ira drives my ass crazy every time he talks about a freaking extension. And I love Jimmy Butler and what he's done here, but you've got to get off the gravy train because he can't stay healthy. And it hurts you. And unfortunately, you're not really winning a title unless you have another superstar that's better than him on this team. So what I'd like to do, start the youth movement already, dude. Let's go. We got Jaquez, and we got Jovic, and we got Bam, and we got Tyler. We got Caleb. I want youngins, bro. You got first-round pick again this year. Let's go. You know how to draft now. You're drafting really well lately. So let's go. That's where I'm at now. I'm at the point where let's go youth movement, because the old movement really does not get you over the hump. Let's just be honest. And we have the best coach in the NBA. We have the best coach on planet Earth. We have the best coach in the entire universe. I don't think any other planet in the universe or any other solar system has a better coach than Eric Spoelstra. He's going to maximize anything that we have. And while I appreciate everything Butler has done, the amount of money that he is tying up, that's why I want a youth movement. Let's go. And if you can trade for a young star to add to these guys, then you do it. But I want a youth movement. That's what I want. So that's where, but I'm that guy that I'm willing to tell you things that you guys aren't willing to do, because most of you are fanatics. Not just fans, you're fanatics. So you will not step outside and look objectively. You think that X was going to have 10 interceptions every year from there on out. That's just asinine. And you had to know that all those knee injuries, all those knee scopes, all the baggage, and all the wear and tear, it was going to come to a head at one point or another. 7 interceptions over 3 years. That's what you're paying for. And I get why they kept him, because they were going to make this run with Tua and McDaniel and all that stuff. But, I know you guys get bent out of shape with me, bro. You people lost it when I said to trade Jimmy Butler, when I trade X, but I'm right on both. I was right on both. Those were the times to get off the gravy train. So, what are you going to do, right? Big O, where the Miami Cadence predictable first quarter against Baltimore, 14-7 okay lead against Buffalo, and struck first against Kansas City. Brother, your head coach is not good enough. Okay? The talent was good enough. Your head coach failed your team last year, and your head coach failed your team this year. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Has nothing to do with anything else except your coach is not good enough at preparing his teams to be fully aware of everything they have to do inside a game. Mike McDaniel is the reason why you fell short last year and you fell short again this year. Okay? He is a mediocre game manager. Only Mario Cristobal is worse than him. Only Mario, and that's bad. And we happen to have both in the same town. Because I know Mike would have at least taken the knee. So I'll give him a slight edge. But you want to know what your reason is? It's all Mike McDaniel. He's the guy that has the undisciplined team. He's the guy that his team will not play smart. His team will constantly make all kinds of mistakes in the worst moments of a game. That's who Mike McDaniel's teams are. That's at least what I've seen for 2 years. A team that is more than happy to shoot itself in the foot constantly. If it's not the head coach burying his team with some stupid play call or decision or not winning a challenge or whatever it is, it's the players doing something, just dumb in the worst moment possible. I can't answer it. I can't explain it, but that's your problem. And I really don't know how they fix it. I really don't. That one I'm a little nervous because I've never seen the fun guy, the friend guy, all of a sudden become a disciplinarian. I don't even think that example exists. So I don't know how he becomes a disciplinarian. And he told me he was going to learn about running the ball, and he really didn't learn. Hell, he told Kaylee Hartung at halftime he was going to run the ball more to sustain drives. On the first drive, he doesn't run the ball enough. And the one play that he ran was the only productive play out of the three. So I don't know what you can do if you're going to habitually lie. Oh, by the way, Mike McDaniel apologized to Mostert last year. What's he going to apologize for this year? Is that what we're doing now? Every year? Well, let's see what the coach is going to apologize for this year. We don't have time for you to grow up. That's what I told you all. So I told you, fork in the road. He's got to prove it next year. By the end of the year, you all will fry him. Guaranteed. Mark it down. I've already mentioned this for 3 weeks now. This is his final year coming up. If he does not improve and he does the same stuff, every one of you will be losing your minds. Some of you already want him out. I'd bring him back just to give him a chance to see, because there's potential there. I like Mike McDaniel, actually. Believe it or not, I like him. Doesn't stop me from being objective. Okay? But he better figure this shit out and figure it out quickly. And he better do something that I've never seen anybody do, because nobody can come up with an example of a nice guy coach that all of a sudden became a disciplinarian and got away with it. It just doesn't happen. Let's see. Eric Spoelstra is truly the best coach. That man has had to adjust his lineup constantly, and he does it so well. It's not even close. Guy's an absolute stud. There is potential, but he is too smart and cute for his own good. Yep. So, what can I tell you? Oh, let's see. What else? Big O Ross will secretly offer Harbaugh a contract for sure. No dice. Won't happen. I don't think he wants to take him away from Michigan. I don't think he wants to do any of that. I actually believe that. So don't think it'll happen. I don't think they're going to go after another coach. You know, I love having fun with the Belichick stuff because there's so many great ties to it, you know, and it's so conspiracy theory-ish that it, you know, that's what people come up with. That's how they do those things. And that one is the best. Yeah, it's funny. Won't ever happen, but it's interesting. It's stuff to think about. So, anyway. What else? Is there any super chats? Did I miss any? Sean? None? Nada? Nay? Just want to make sure. Okay, I'm good. Caught up with the super chats. Let me make sure. No Cash App or Venmo. No Cash App or Venmo. Okay. And how is Bitcoin doing right now is the question. It's up 1%. So it's in the 43,300 range. Not bad. So it got back over 43,000. Okay. Not bad. It is moving good right now. Let's see if it continues to move up. As I told you earlier, it's going to take a couple of weeks, but you're going to see it. There's going to be a steady rise now, is what you're going to have, because you're going to have less outflows from Grayscale, and you're going to have more inflows from all of the ETFs as they're buying the spot Bitcoin for their customers. Okay? Because by law, they cannot buy unless they have the money. They couldn't buy it ahead of time before the spot ETFs were approved. The government doesn't allow that. So it has to be when it is approved, and then you can start buying it legally for your customers. All right? Anyway, appreciate all of you out there. We thank Cameron Wolf and Manny Navarro, Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, that knows how to get it done. We will see you tomorrow morning. We'll be live at Top Gun Indoor Range, 12015. Okay? So join us out there. There you go, 12015 Southwest, 114th place. It's right off the Turnpike and 120th. The shooting competition is on January 31st on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Okay? Tomorrow's not the shooting competition, but you can go and check out the place. Maybe you want to buy a new gun or bow and arrow, whatever. They've got safes. They've got safes to please keep your guns locked. Come on, man. Common sense. Let's go. Safes. It can't be like when I was a kid. Okay? We were a different breed. Okay? We didn't go around picking up our parents' guns and shooting each other. Nowadays, kids, you know, they're not very bright, and they're constantly shooting each other. I don't know what happened to common sense. Sorry, but we kind of knew not to touch dad's guns back in the day. Like, you kind of were intimidated enough as it is. I'm not talking about 3-year-olds, because when that happens, that's like freakish. But, you know, when we were 10 or 12 or 8 or 14, we kind of knew that we couldn't touch guns. I don't know. That's because you kiddies live in a different world nowadays. We lived in a world where you got a foot right up your ass when you did something wrong. And you kind of knew never to. My dad's guns were never locked. Never locked. Shotgun was just lying up against the wall right there next to the bed the entire time. You think I ever grabbed that shotgun? Brother, I looked at it and I was scared. Why? Because I saw my dad behind the shotgun going, touch it and I'll kick your ass. He had a 9mm, which is what I also have, a Smith & Wesson. He had that in the sock chamber. Then he had a couple of guns outside in the living room area. Never touched them. Never touched them. Cleaning them, whatever, all that. Open. And most of us kids, people my age, we grew up, all of us, like that way. All of us. We all grew up that way. Now, you can't grow up that way. Now you can't. Your 12-year-old will do something stupid. These 12-year-olds, we were a lot smarter. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I don't know. But please get a safe if you have a weapon. It keeps everybody safe when you have one. That's the most important thing. So if you can. So meet us at Top Gun tomorrow. We'll be doing the show starting off at 10 a.m. And who knows? You can go check out the place. It's great. Steve does an excellent job. Family-owned business. Great stuff, man. You'll love it. So we'll be at Top Gun tomorrow. But again, if you want to join us for the shooting competition, we'll have prizes. And everybody that participates in the shooting competition, I'm giving them a Big O shirt. Okay? So there you go. All right, we are out of here. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.